I want to welcome you to this series. It's the first installation of this, and it's something I've been excited about for a long time. A lot of you have heard me talk about it, and it is something that is near and dear to my heart. The first thing I think we need to address is there are so many great commentators, artists, writers, thinkers who are helping us understand the trauma and ravages of purity culture. For me, the most influential folks have been Linda K. Klein and Sarah Mosliner and Julie Ingersoll. There's so many other voices, Emily Joy, Jamie Lee Finch, memoir, documentary, all kinds of things. And I think folks are really sort of coming to a place where talking about the toxicity of purity culture is out in the open and helpful, and it's different than even 5 or 10 years ago. One thing you may be wondering is, okay, do we really need men talking about this? Men, especially cis straight men like me, are everywhere, and they butt themselves into every conversation. They often dominate those spaces and don't allow other people to talk and all kinds of things, right? I think for me, I've tried to take that very seriously and think hard about whether or not another voice in this mix is needed, especially from a cis straight guy. What I realized is it's taken me a long time to face up to my trauma as it relates to purity culture. It's taken me a long time to even admit that it was there, to admit that what happened 15 and 20 and 25 years ago for me still lingers and still affects me and has affected my relationships, my romantic and sexual relationships, that it's affected how I understand myself. It's affected how I understand my masculinity. One of the other things, though, that hits me there is something from Bell Hooks. Bell Hooks says in The Will to Change that patriarchy is founded on the idea that straight men are superior to all others, right? That everyone else is somehow weaker and more and inferior. Toxic masculinity, as it is expressed in patriarchy and certainly in purity culture, rests on the idea that domination and power are virtues, right? That control and security are how you should be as a man and as an authority figure. What happens in the process, and Bell Hooks makes this so clear, is that men hurt themselves and men hurt everyone else. And so when you take on this system and its virtues and its logic, you not only do damage to yourself as a man, but you are then there's a very good chance you're doing damage to other people. Any society, community populated by men who are living according to these ideals and these virtues will be plagued by anger, abuse, and trauma. So for me, jumping into this mix is not coming from a need to say, well, what about men? No one's listening to us. This is not a competition. It's not a desire for some other, unheeded perspective to be thrown in, right? Cis straight men have been at the forefront in bad and misguided ways in cultural and political and economic decisions and discussions for too long. For me, jumping into this mix is about the fact that if we, and I'm saying me as a straight cis guy, don't face up to this, not only will I continue to do damage to myself and live with unconfronted trauma and effects of purity culture, but we are going to continue to emanate, foster, and develop a sense of masculinity that is going to hurt other people. We have to do the work to confront our trauma and our suffering, not only for ourselves, but also because this is a way that abuse and assault and control and domination and harassment and so many other effects of toxic forms of masculinity are spread throughout our society. That's my goal with this series. I hope you'll come along with me. I feel super excited. I also feel a little bit nervous because I know it's going to mean a lot of vulnerability on my part, but I'm ready for that. And thanks for being here. We'll catch you next time.